They thought I went to school on the back of an elephant. So I hit the sofa and cried, literally cried. Like, God, I don't understand. What? Why? No breakages, nothing. Absolutely got discharged on the same day. And it suddenly hit my brain. Oh, this is serious. They actually mean this. I'm the only fool in the room who's just realizing.
So, welcome back to the Value of Vulnerability podcast. This is where we share some of our vulnerabilities and some of the challenges we face in our lives, and ask what have we learned from those, and what advantages have they brought. I always chat to a friend, and today is a real pleasure to invite my friend Joseph here. So we're going to crack on and chat to Joseph today. Hi,
Cool.
Joe.
Hola.
How are you?
I am well. Very
Good.
well.
We know one another quite well. We go back a few years now.
Yeah.
Tell me, just give me a brief summary, sort of 5 minutes, just summarizing your whole life, the highlight
My
reel.
whole life in
What would
5
you
minutes.
What would you put on
Okay.
Facebook in 5 minutes?
Oh gosh. Okay. I would say, all right. So born in Ghana, raised there until mom left when I was about 2 to come to the UK. We joined my mom when I was 13. When I say we, my dad and my sister both joined my mom here. And then I would say, yeah, lived on New Addington, the estates there. Went to Addington High School. So two things happening in my life at the time. I was going to, obviously, in the culture here, very much involved in school life and everything. But my Christian life was a Ghanaian church, so very culturally speaking tree and stuff. So it was quite divided. But then when I became a Christian, even though I was raised a Christian, when I became a Christian, and if time permits, I'll explain what that means in a minute. But I basically started wanting those two worlds to collide. And so that's probably when it all started. I went to university in Canterbury, came back, went to visit the church, and the church asked me to be the youth pastor, and I've been serving the Lord since.
Serving the Lord. What, you've been working in a church?
Yes, so I've been working in the church. I've been working in schools. I've been, I would say, I'll probably add youth work separately as another thing because we run a youth club.
So once I met King Charles, he was Prince Charles at that point, and he said, "Oh, do you wear one of those dog collar?" So is that what you do? Do you wear a dog collar thing?
No, I'm afraid I do not qualify to wear a dog collar in any stretch of imagination, but I do similar things to those who wear dog collars.
Okay, great. And just what do you know why your parents wanted to move from Ghana to the UK?
I give you two answers. One is fact. The other has become a revelation to me. Mom left Ghana basically to escape poverty. She wanted to come and do better with her life. And essentially, I think her thinking was that she can help us and then she'll come back with some more money so we can live a better life in Ghana. That's the factual question. I have since learned that actually God brought me and our family here for a different purpose, and which is the purpose for which I live now, which is when I first came here, I thought United Kingdom was a more Christian country than Ghana. I definitely thought that because, as you know, Ghana became a Christian country because of missionaries. The fathers from here risked everything to go and preach the gospel in Ghana. But so when I came here and I discovered that actually, although the diaspora church is growing, the indigenous people of this country are actually in many ways falling away from them, letting go of that rich inheritance. And I've been praying for them.
And so that was quite a surprise to you. And just New Addington is actually what government would call a deprived area.
Sure.
It's probably one of the most, in the top 10% most deprived areas in the country. So you've come from Ghana for your parents to escape relative poverty, but you've come to probably a different kind of poverty.
Sure.
And you're saying spiritual poverty as well as
Yeah,
material poverty.
correct. Correct.
So just tell me a bit about that transition and what you felt when you came, how old were you?
13.
13. So what did you feel, that cultural shift, I guess? What do you remember about that?
Okay, I'll tell you two things. One was quite comical, which later wasn't too comical in the end, which was I was surprised that my friends were asking me things that I had no idea about. So it betrayed their ignorance. So, for example, people will say, "Have you seen an elephant?" And I said, "Yes, at the zoo." "Have you seen a tiger?" I said, "Yes, at the zoo." And every time I said at the zoo, they were a little bit surprised, and I didn't understand why. That's the only place that you see these wild animals. And then I questioned them with the puzzle on their face, like, "Why are you looking surprised?" To which they responded, they thought I went to school on the back of an elephant.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"You idiot." No. I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Really? What? I don't understand." But as I said, I have since come to understand why people would think that it's the single story. If you hear that Africans are poor and they're always begging for money in the face of a poor guy with a bowl, that's all you know.
Yeah.
You'll come to think that way.
So,
But
so Live Aid and things like that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
have
yeah.
had a big impact. Probably actually going back to the Jungle Book and stuff like that, that they are the four foundations of British people's view of sort of
Correct.
Africa. And,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to live in the world that I lived in, to come to England and to have people who in every way we think are educated, intelligent, know a lot more than, and actually to find them so ignorant was quite a shock for me. I was like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" Type of thing. Because nobody in Ghana sits on the back of an elephant to go anywhere.
Okay. And wow, I didn't know that. I had to, okay. So, and you said there was another issue with the transition. There was two things.
Yeah. So, do you know of William Blake's two sets of poetry, Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience? This laughing matter, I suppose I could tell another story. Like I said, I lived in New Addington, so we were walking. I went to Addington High School, so we're on our way back from home. School is majority white. My friends are white. My neighbor. So we're walking down with my friend called John Price, Milne Park. Yes,
Yeah.
Milne Park.
Yeah.
We're walking towards my house. And when we pass the park, my friend John turns around and says to me, "Did you hear them making monkey noises?" And I was like, "No." Then I carried on walking. Then he said, "Hang on, wait, do you know what that means?" And I said, "No." Then carried on walking. Said, wait, hang on. They were calling you monkey. I was like, why in God's name would they think I'm a monkey? Why would they call me a monkey? I don't understand. And I kid you not, Andy, if I had heard them making monkey noises, I would have probably joined in making monkey noises because I think it's a joke. Because I, in my whole experience, had never experienced racism. I had no idea that they existed, which was, as I said, Songs of Innocence. Because the fact that I didn't know was like, wow. But it was a laughing matter then.
Yeah.
But when we come to talk about vulnerability and difficulties, I'll share how that laughing matter became a painful experience later.
Yeah. And so did your friend at that point explain what the monkey noises meant, or do you remember just carry on walking? Or
After he said they were calling you monkey, I just said, "Well, that's silly."
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it. Okay. Let's come on to what was your earliest memory?
Earliest memory. Wow. Sheesh. I'm gonna go for walking in the farm with my grandma.
Right. Okay. And what emotion did that bring up?
Adventure.
So
Fun.
so there was sort of excitement,
Yep.
bit of trepidation? Was it?
No, not really, because she was there. She knew what she was doing.
So you felt
I
secure?
felt very safe. I felt the reason why I was on the farm is because, earlier I mentioned my mom had come to this country at a very early age. So my dad took us to my grandma to look after us, and she had a farm.
Right.
So I was walking in the farm with her. She'd done what she needed to do. Then she took some, I think it was cocoyam. She made fire, cooked it there, right there in the farm, and we all gathered around and ate. It was just, kind of surreal, but really fun memory.
Fun and happy.
Happy.
So being with family.
Yeah, it was good.
That's good. So I wanted to come on actually to tell us about some of the happiest memories. So give me, say, 3 of the happiest moments.
3 happiest moments in my life. I would say, okay, my mom returned to Ghana in 91. And
so she'd left when you were 2?
2, yeah. And then she came when I was she came in 91, so I'm guessing 8.
So you were 8, yeah.
8
So
to
you
9.
had been quite a gap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big, important parts in my years, but when I saw her, I was like, whoa, we were just so excited, finally seeing my mom, and she's come from the West, and she's the one who's been sending us support and stuff, and just really thrilled. And I don't remember ever celebrating a birthday until she came.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So one of my happiest memories was when she arrived, she put on a birthday party for me, and then for my sister as well. And I was like, everybody in the whole town were like, yeah. And everybody, what is like in Ghana is you don't just send invites to your friends. If you put on a party, expect the whole community
The
to
whole
come.
village or
Yeah,
the
everybody
town will come.
comes. Yeah. So it was like that, and it was great.
Excellent. So that's one.
Yeah.
Can you give me another 2?
Okay, I suppose the other one will be when I became pastor at Beulah Family Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, I had finished Canterbury studying theology and psychology, and I went there to just visit because Terry Virgo, the founder of New Frontiers, was going to preach there. And upon arrival, they said, we've been praying for a youth pastor. We think it's you. And I was like, whoa. So that was great.
So you walked in this was week 1 of
Week 1.
just going to see.
Yeah, I know, right?
So why do you ever analyze why you think that happened? Because
that's because in my own path, so obviously they were doing their own journey, but in my own path, remember I said I started praying for revival, particularly among the indigenous people of this nation. I got a taste of it while I was studying in Canterbury. I started a campus ministry. In fact, I was the international lead for the Christian executive. So I was doing campus ministry, inviting people for seminars, Bible studies in lecture theaters and seminar halls and things like that. I remember I have left the Ghanaian church to go there. Remember I said I wanted the 2 to collide? So I've left this Ghanaian church and I'm doing this campus ministry, and I'm seeing...
Was that organized, or was that under an organization? Or were you were just doing it under Christian Union?
And my church.
Mm-hmm.
So
like Charlie...
yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And we would have people gather, and it was great.
And was it similar to the stuff Charlie encountered? Were you having a lot of negativity and
honestly
challenge?
No, because if I remember correctly, there weren't too much political ideologies that were attacking.
It was less so.
It was less so back then.
Yeah.
It was more on theological basis, and basically apologetics on the basis that God exists, God is real. Probably debating science and faith, more of that.
Yeah.
And any political issues necessarily.
Okay. So not the anger, but some challenge, particularly
Yeah.
from the scientific community as
Yeah.
to
And
we can disprove God.
absolutely. And actually, even in my lecture, we had a lecturer in Canterbury who was a gay Buddhist.
Right.
That is one thing. But he was a gay Buddhist who absolutely hated Christianity. And I was like, but he's teaching a theology course in Canterbury of all places. So I was like, whoa, what's wrong? What's up with this guy? And so I was really challenged by that. And even my Christian professors, um, some of them were unsure of their faith. And yet one of them in particular was helping train bishops in Canterbury. And so my world was like, the stuff you were saying is so wrong, and yet you're in a position of training bishops. Like, what is going on? It was a real challenge for me. I nearly quit theology and just do psychology.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, in my third year, I had an evangelical Christian lecturer, and I was like, oh,
Thank
okay,
heavens. There is
thank the
someone
Lord.
who I did believe in the Bible.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you explain just I'm fascinated that you just go into a church once
Yes.
and they suddenly go, obviously been praying for a youth pastor,
Yep.
and suddenly they know that they've found their man, as it were.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what their journey was, but mine was this. God said to me, I needed to let go of the campus ministry, of all this dream and praying and penetrating into the culture and return back to Croydon.
Right.
And I did not want to do that until one day. So even though I had finished uni, I've moved back to Croydon. Every Thursday, I would go back to Canterbury to do this campus ministry. And on this particular occasion, the friend who I was living with, who was hosting me, one of the guys who was living there was as I entered the building into the house, the guy was coming from the bedroom upstairs. And he said to me, he's just been doing his quiet time, Joseph, I feel God will say to you that you feel like you are standing on sinking sand and you are trying to take hold of everything that is established. And God is saying, let go. And for some reason, the moment he gave me those words, I knew that God was saying, drop the campus ministry. So I hit the sofa and cried, literally cried, like, God, I don't understand. What? Why? Why would you send me back to Croydon? There is nothing there.
What's good about God good could come out of Croydon? Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
As I say, in Croydon, the two words were separate. In Canterbury, my Christian faith and the world in which I lived was the same, and I felt I was making a difference. So I did, because God had spoken and made it quite clear. I left, and after crying and praying, I came back to Croydon, and I decided to stay. And Andy, it took another 7 months. Literally, I was at home, probably just reading my Bible, waiting for God. What is He gonna do? And the only thing I remember from my studies in those 7 months was do not complain.
Right.
And made sure that I read things in the Exodus. The Israelites who left Egypt are going to the promised land, and they will often complain about stuff.
Yeah,
And
don't grumble.
Don't grumble. Exactly. So I was like, oh man, okay. I don't know what's going on in my life, but I'm not allowed to complain.
How were you getting money at that time then?
Parents.
Just
So here's a graduate, moved back home,
Yeah.
and just sitting on his laurels, waiting and feeding off his mum and dad.
Yeah.
It was humbling.
Yeah.
But I trusted God.
Yeah.
You said to let that go and come and wait here until you do something. And I did not know what He was going to do. I literally went to this church, as I said, because a friend of mine from Canterbury who lives in Clonton Heath knew about the church and said, Terry Virgo is coming to preach there, and I think you will like him, so come and hear it.
It's interesting because it reminds me of a story. Lorna, who's a friend of both.
Yeah, Lorna, yeah.
She once said, early in my Christian faith, she said, I think you should do theology training. And at the time I was, working Croydon, I just got 2 million to build Thornton's pool. So I was successful, and I had a mortgage and I had a house. And I remember lying in the bath one day.
Yeah.
God saying, because Lorna had said that, and I just dismissed it
Right.
out of hand, you know. And God said, well, give up your house, give up your job, and then you'll have enough money to live for 2 years, and then you'll have to trust me for your finances and everything. So I did that, and 20 years later, it works. But it's that,
Praise the Lord.
it's that moment of like banging
Yeah.
going, no, I can't possibly do that. And then
Yeah.
God sort of says, no, you can.
Yes, you
know,
can.
there is a way.
That's right. That's right.
So after 7 months,
Yeah.
you heard Terry Virgo was going to preach at this weird church in Thornton.
Yeah, that I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Yes. So I rocked up. And if I'm honest, the moment I entered the building, I loved it. So
did you know the history of Spurgeon at that point?
No. I knew nothing about this church. Nothing at all. I remember in Croydon, as I said, I go to this Ghanaian church. If I'm honest, in Canterbury, I went to a white church. Yeah. And I've always known, even in Croydon, we rented the Baptist church on Annam Road in New Addington, Annam Road Baptist Church.
Yeah.
That one. And so here, the Baptist church there, I mean, it had a good minister the first time when we were there, and he was very good. But the church was pretty, I suppose, he was trying. Let's put it that way. He was really trying. So they would do the morning service, and then in the afternoon, we will come and we are like fire, you know, everybody's excited, drum is going, people are dancing, speaking in tongues and all of that sort of stuff. So even as a young boy, as a new Christian, I felt like the diaspora church was vibrant and the indigenous church
was dead.
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Somehow it needed to mix, basically. The indigenous church was very knowledgeable, high on understanding theology and stuff. And the diaspora church was faith-filled. Spirit-filled, let's go type of thing. So I felt like the two needed each other. If the passion and the faith and the courage of these guys could infuse, and these guys, you know, help teach and reach this nation, it would be great. So anyway, so when I entered Beulah, I found Black, white, Asians, Eastern Europeans. The worship was jamming. It was like really good. I was like, whoa, praise the Lord.
I found it.
I found it, absolutely. And then obviously Terry Virgo preaching on grace from Galatians was like, wow, he's an excellent teacher, amazing man of God. But in the middle of the service, after worship, before the preach, they have a 2-minute break, say hello to the person next to you. And our friend Tom and Tim, they were sat right in the row in front of me. Right. So Tim turns around, says hello to me and introduced Tom to me. And they asked me what I'm doing. And I said, look, I've just finished university. I'm here. I go to this church. I just was invited to hear Terry Virgo. They said, oh, no, we've been praying for you, pastor, to come in. So maybe you should look into it. I was like, yeah, whatever. That's not why I'm here. So I just pushed it away. And then, as I say, Terry got up and preached, and it was amazing. At the end of the service, just before I left the building, pastor there took hold of me and also asked me a few questions. You know, how you doing? Asked me a few strange questions like, are you married? I said, no. Do you have a girlfriend? He says. I was like, yo, what? Do you ask every new person that comes to your church, do you have a girlfriend? Like, what's happening? But he then went on to say the church has been praying for a youth pastor, and they think I should.
He said that on the first day?
He said that to me on the first day as well.
Yeah.
So I basically went back to Church of Pentecost and told them what had happened. And the second miracle happened. They let me go. They're like, they don't ever let anyone go in Church of Pentecost, particularly if they have faith that you're going to do something.
Yeah.
So they're like, maybe God is opening doors for you. We're going to pray for you. You have our blessing. You know, if you take the job, there's no hard feelings, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, okay. So then I went to Beulah and they invited me to come and preach. I preached. And the next time I went there, I was the youth pastor.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so another happy moment. Can you think of one more happy?
I got married and I have 4 boys. I have to say that one.
I was hoping you. Well done, Ruth.
I clocked that one. I was like, I better say that one, otherwise I'm in trouble. But no, they are a real joy. They
Yeah.
are a joy. God has really blessed me in the family that He's given me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank- He sees mum cross the road. He goes after mum. And this minicab driver, I think, is feeling lost or somewhere. So he's not looking on the road. He's looking somewhere else. And I see my little 2-year-old literally get hit